My fellow Quebecers, a vote for me, Maurice Duplessis, is a vote for progress. I promise to bring new hospitals and roads and electricity to the rural parts of the province. All of this for the low, low price of no more unions, church having complete control, and social regression, the likes of which you've never seen. And don't forget, if you even look communist, I have an act for that.
Why do we keep electing this guy? I'm not sure. My priest said he was good for Quebec, and he promised electricity for my farm. And did he keep his promise? Meh. Good enough for me. Let's keep him in power for almost 20 years. Maurice Duplessis is something of a unique figure in Quebec political history. Known for his strong traditional values and iron-fisted leadership, Maurice Duplessis and his Union national government controlled Quebec during two periods. First, from 1936 to 1939, and again from 1944 to 1959 until his death. The general sentiment surrounding Duplessis' time in power can be captured by the name given to this time period, La Grande Noirceur, or the Great Darkness. It is remembered as a socially conservative era with restrictions on civil liberties, during which Quebec fell behind in other regions such as science, engineering, and business. You may remember the Padlock Act from our first video, introducing the fear and paranoia of the Red Scare. The law allowed the government to shut down buildings suspected of being used for communist activity. The act reflected Duplessis' strongly anti-communist and anti-union values. Along with his hostility towards organized labor movements, Duplessis encouraged foreign investment, particularly from the United States. His government often favored foreign companies over local development. His relationship with these investors contributed to his reputation of being a corrupt politician. However, no political figure can be defined as either wholly good or wholly bad. Despite his authoritarian tendencies, Duplessis oversaw policies that improved economic stability for many Quebecers. Minimum wages increased, home ownership became more accessible, and numerous public projects, including hospitals, schools, and highways, were built across the province. Much of this spending, however, was made possible by the influx of foreign investment. Because of this, Duplessis was able to fund infrastructure projects without heavily relying on Canadian federal government. The goal of this economic strategy was to preserve Quebec's provincial autonomy, one of his central political views. Another priority for Duplessis was the preservation of French culture. To support this goal, he formed a close alliance with the Roman Catholic Church. The Church and Duplessis shared conservative and anti-union beliefs. This led to a mutually beneficial partnership. The Church's influence helped secure a loyal voter base, while the government allowed it to maintain controls over these hospitals and schools throughout the province. Although Duplessis often presented himself as a champion of economic modernization, his social policies remained deeply regressive, traditional, and strict. He promoted large hydroelectric projects and expanded infrastructure in rural regions, helping bring electricity to many parts of the countryside. These promises of development also helped secure political support in these rural areas, essentially buying votes, often with false promises of new infrastructure. However, Duplessis typically favored private electric companies rather than government ownership, meaning less regulation and sky-high electrical prices. This preference for private industry would remain a constant theme throughout his time in office. To summarize, the rule of Duplessis left a complicated legacy. His government promoted economic growth, infrastructure development, and provincial independence. At the same time, it restricted civil liberties, discouraged labor movements, and maintained strong ties with the Catholic Church. Because of these contradictions, Duplessis remains one of the most debated figures in Quebec history. His era shaped this province's political and cultural identity, while also setting the stage for the dramatic social and political changes that would follow during the Quiet Revolution of the 1960s. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and remember to like and smash that subscribe button. If you're interested in tutoring, my email is in my bio. If there's a topic from previous chapters in the grade 10 history curriculum or grade 9 history curriculum that you'd like for me to cover, let me know in the comments. That's all for today's Penelope Explains History. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.